Hello, we'll be discussing voter fraud/voting rights in this video. An issue that's been stirring up controversy is voter fraud a concern that the United States should worry about?
Our dear President has declared that it is a concern, going as far as to creating an executive order to investigate voter fraud in the 2016 election.
You have people that are registered who are dead, who are illegals, who are in 2 states. You have people registered in 2 states. They're registered in New York and New Jersey. They vote twice. There are millions of votes, in my opinion. Okay.
Is there really any evidence of voter fraud?
Well, according to my notes, there have only been 31 cases of voter fraud from 2000 to 2014. I would say that voter fraud isn't really something to worry about. When Cullen offered $1,000 to anyone who could provide evidence for voter fraud, no one presented evidence.
I have evidence of voter fraud, though. In Colorado, there were several cases of dead people voting. On top of that, the ex-Colorado Republican Party chairman, Steven Curtis, forged his wife's mail-in ballot.
I would like to add that in Alabama, the mayor was arrested for 3 counts of absentee voter fraud.
And in Pennsylvania, people voted more than once.
People in Texas were voting without verification of identity, and a woman who wasn't a citizen voted twice.
In Wisconsin, there were underage voters.
There was an absentee voter fraud in Florida involving the case of Dulce Cabrera, who delivered fake ballots to the post office, and ex-felons who were voting illegally.
Okay guys, we get it. So apparently there is evidence of voter fraud, but how do we know that that's actually evidence? For all we know, that could be fake news. Regardless, Trump is still moving forward with his plan to investigate the voter fraud in the 2016 election.
That's right. I'm going to impose stricter voting laws, not just for the benefit of the nation, but for the benefit of the people.
Well, either way, this investigation of voter fraud will discourage minorities like blacks and Latinos, low-income and elderly people from voting because they are less likely to have an accepted form of ID. In the long run, this will hurt the nation, as the people won't have any say in their government.
States would have to spend more money passing voting laws.
Yeah, Texas spent about $2 million on passing the law for voter ID and educating the public on it.
And Indiana spent over $10 million making ID cards for everyone.
Regardless of how much state spending would go into this mission to demolish voter fraud, many states have already enacted voting laws. For example, there is the creation of a bill that requires voters to have proof of citizenship in Virginia. There's another one that requires voters in Iowa to show a card with a barcode to verify identity. There's another one that requires fingerprints to verify identity, and another one that cuts period of time for early voting.
But since cases of voter fraud are so rare, is spending millions of dollars really worth trying to verify whether people are eligible to vote or not?
Well, every vote counts.
Not exactly. There have been no sorts of evidence to support the fact that voter fraud has had any impact on any election.
Yeah, and even if the results turned out to be different from what we anticipated, like the last election, the actual problem could be because of the old machines being used to process and tally the final election totals.
Wait, hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, ask your Mikey boy where his investigation's at.
Anyways, voter fraud. Is it something that should be taken more seriously, or is it just a fake concern always pitched by the losing side?
You decide.